Hi, good afternoon. This afternoon, I'm here with a very, very important, wonderful senior friend of mine. I used to call him senior friend. I call him chief coach, right?
Yeah.
And I've met him some years ago, and he has been a blessing to my life. Really,
Wow.
I will say this, and I'm so glad to be meeting him again after maybe over about 3 years or thereabout. That's the last time I saw
3
you.
years. Last was in Abuja.
Yes, in Abuja. And I really remember one of my first experiences doing a video online.
Yeah.
He invited me to do
my podcast.
his podcast to do
Leadership Talk with Adegoke.
with Adegoke.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. I was having so much technical issues,
Yeah.
and we talked about it today.
Yeah.
A lot of memories.
Yeah.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Okay. My name is Adegoke Omotola. I'm a certified Maxwell coach, speaker, and trainer, and alongside my friend, my brother Konrad, Kenechukwu, Agabah,
Yeah.
is also a John Maxwell certified coach. I'm a management consultant as well. Run a company called First Degree Consulting, based in Nigeria, but we do a lot of collaborations globally. So, yeah.
Yeah. I want to really talk a little bit here about, because we had a lot of conversations today.
Yeah.
And sometimes we talked about a lot of setbacks we've had. And most times leadership, when it comes to leadership, people talk about leadership from a place of influence, position, and things like that. But sometimes people who are actual leaders as well, they are in some nasty situations, mess, and challenges, and it seems like there's no room for the top. Do you want to talk about some things about setbacks?
Okay. Well, I mean, I put up a post on LinkedIn yesterday talking about, my journey, that even as leaders, there are bumps on the road, and, I used a photo that I had of, that I had taken with a classic car. Classic cars, some of them are very pricey, and some of them 80 years old, 100 years old.
Yeah.
And people still buy those cars for a lot of money.
A lot of money, yeah.
But they're buying because those cars have now become, what you could call, very valuable because of the processes they've gone through, engine overhaul, they changed the a lot of accessories, and they've outlived even newer models of cars.
Yeah.
And so that's how your leadership, because of the experiences that you go through, your leadership lead also goes higher. And, in my own journey, I faced, uphill challenges, but like John Maxwell will say, that everything that you're going to achieve in life is uphill. So nothing happens, much in the comfort zone. Everything happens in the strength zone. And even our meeting today is, is divine, because you have driven almost 3 hours to come and see me to my location. So So I just say that, for me personally, leadership is a journey, but we just have to have the right mindset and just continue to push the envelope and trust God that, we'll become a better person. So,
Yeah, that's good. You talked about journey, that journey. Many people think so much about, because they have this 1 year goal that didn't happen and things like that. Talking about leadership, how do they understand about journey? Understanding that it's not just about the short-term things that happened or didn't happen.
Well, I mean, it's all part of the experience, because, one thing about leadership is about the ability to pivot, the ability to adapt.
Yeah.
When you set, the nav and navigational aids, even for a pilot, you run into turbulence, and the pilot continues to recalibrate, until it gets to the destination. You don't get into a place where you have bumps and decide to just stay there. You have to think outside the box, do collaborations, learn new skills, get into new places. Also your mindset is very important. Because we're in times when, things are a bit volatile all over the world. There's a reset. You have Trump, you have, in the Europe, nations are, looking at their policies and seeing how they can, become much more nimble.
Yeah.
And so for us, even as leaders, the way we show up, we just have to show up with the right mindset and trust that, as we move on, we continue to recalibrate and, become better persons.
Yeah. I loved what you said about recalibration, the word recalibration, because this whole podcast and our whole program is about resetting the mindset, resetting the, building new mindset, and then going to that place where you begin to really evaluate your setbacks, the things we know, and then strategize for success, and then move on to really executing consistently and then thriving and scaling. Do you want to talk about a little bit about how you intentionally recalibrate your mindset, when for someone who is really watching and maybe going through challenges?
Okay. For example, during COVID, which was 5 years ago, it's almost as if it was yesterday. During COVID, there was a shutdown. And so some of us had to, there was no movement. We had to learn new skills. And we had to adapt even on social media. Because prior to that, I didn't really have social media presence. And even now, social media, there's something called social interest. You have to really generate that interest. Even with this podcast that we're doing, we're building up that momentum. And so during that time, I started a podcast, Leadership Talk with Adegoke. I started my YouTube channel. I recalibrated my LinkedIn profile. I also was visible on Facebook, Instagram, and content. Content is very key. And so that has really helped. And for me also, during that period, I put myself, learning new knowledge, particularly in the area of leadership, got into different institutes, became more professional, expanded my network, and was very authentic. Showed myself in vulnerable situations that I was going through. I shared my story, and through that, it's helped. Both of us were showing up even together. We mentioned earlier in the podcast that 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago, we were at different levels in our journey. But thankfully, we're still showing up. And we're growing our careers. And I like what you're doing.
Thank you.
Staying, growth by design.
Growth by design. Growth by design. Exactly, on Instagram. Exactly.
You're just showing up every day. I see you, and I see you doing well. And I recognize that you're not just doing it by accident. You are designed intentionally to show up and to add value all over the world. So Ken, Konrad, I see you, I salute you, I celebrate the grace of God upon your life.
Thank you.
So share with me what's happening now, right now, for you.
Amazingly, I will really thank you so much, really, for the time. Knowing you had been a blessing to me, really, because remember when I met you, I was in a very deep place. Really, when you talk about COVID, COVID was for me a blessing, because when COVID happened, I was in a very deep place. I was supposed to be a leader, but I was in a hole. I was in somewhere.
Wow.
I was somewhere, but COVID, like everything shut down. But for me, what I would do every morning was to take long walks and listen to audio books that was resetting my mindset. I was changing how I think during that season.
Amazing.
And things weren't looking like how I wanted it on the outside, but inside, I was building a strong mindset, really strong mind about who I want to become, who I am.
You were resilient.
Yeah, exactly. And pressing through that situation. And eventually, when I look back and look at where God has brought us, me, my family, I'm so grateful. I'm thankful. And the things we are also doing through Growth by Design, helping people reset mindsets and how they think about setbacks. That setbacks can as well be a blessing in disguise, depending on how you look at it. I see setbacks as stepping stones to the next level of opportunities and breakthroughs. And that's how I say it. And today we are in a different place. I can visit you in a different place now conveniently, and we are doing a show like this and adding value
to the world. Speaking to the world.
It's an amazing opportunity.
Wow.
I want to thank you because you encouraged me so much that season. You are one of the friends that I spoke to that really understood what I was going through at that time. Because I was struggling with believing in myself, really. Sometimes things were really hard on the outside, I was struggling, but I remember talking with you and you share your own stories that looked almost exactly
Similar.
what I was going through.
Yeah. I mean, we thankfully, we're still showing up.
Yes.
And things have gotten better.
Yes.
And they can only get better.
Yes.
By the grace of God. There's also that divine connection,
Yes.
Because, a lot of people, even when they put in plans, very big ideas, find that life happens.
Yes.
And if there's anyone there that is, just wants to recalibrate, there's better days ahead. Bigger and better things are going to happen. But first, you have to, you can't give what you don't have. You have to go on the inside. I also believe that collaborations are very important.
Yeah.
It's amazing, that even despite the fact that we have not seen physically for many years, but we're still checking on one another. And that's your circle is very important.
Yes.
Yeah.
Circles matter. Like circle, like me knowing him, it's a huge circle. You need to follow him on social media. You need to find where he is. He's really, you see, I love that circle. I love that connection, that knowing him. Sometimes it rubs off positively, and you don't know, even no matter what you are going through, you need to keep yourself in the right circle. You need to understand that collaborating with the right kind of people can lead to a big shift in your life. Okay. So,
yes. Can I just drop my link?
Yes.
Yeah. If you want to follow me on LinkedIn, it's Adegoke Omotola.
Yeah.
Adegoke Omotola.
Yeah.
Then on Instagram, it's Adegoke Omotola numeric 1.
Yeah.
Adegoke Omotola numeric 1.
Yeah.
I thank you for inviting me to be on your podcast. I know you're a very busy person.
Thank you.
And it's such an honor to be here.
Thank you.
Growth by Design. You guys are doing amazing things.
Thank you.
Showing up massively, adding value to the world.
Yeah.
And I can assure you that even years from now, this collaboration will go places by the special grace of God.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much, sir, for giving us the opportunity to really have this amazing talk with you and inviting us into your home. To just have this lovely time with you.
Thank you.
You have been a blessing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Right.